うん。 Come on in and grab a drink. Talk about anything. Grab a cigar, just sit right down, all family here. Let's go! Welcome to the show. Drinks and Dave. Drinks and Dave. Welcome to the show.
You know what we got here, Dave?
Well, good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are. And echo, echo, echo. We're empty, but we like to say welcome to Tig Lily, who is watching from a wonderful place. And what?
PB's here.
Okay, that's two.
But it says one.
Yeah, I don't know where he's. I don't know. I don't know. You know, that's the problem. You take a hiatus, and that happens. And
well, we have our number one fan already. So
we've got PB too. Well, we've got PB too.
I meant PB.
Well, the thing is, understand that Tig Lily is listening from a very remote place, roughly 22 feet away, under
no ethical obligation to support her husband in this endeavor.
That's true. You're smoking a Rubicon, huh?
Yeah, in honor of you, my friend.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Cohiba Rubicon you gave me.
It's pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. There you go.
And you can get. Oh, see, look, you said she wasn't going to make it.
I said she
Welcome,
might.
Monteja.
Yeah.
So
there we go. We have more guests than hosts now. That's a good thing.
Did you remember to buy the beer and the kegs and stuff for the bar? Maybe that's just
maybe it was a poor choice to raise our ticket prices to $20. So
that's true. That's a good point. So
go back down.
So how was your summer? Now that we're getting towards the end of it.
Well, you know, it's funny because you said we're going to talk about all of our trips and vacations and stuff, and it felt like we usually do more during the summer than we did this year.
Yeah, but you know, do you realize we've been gone for 3 months? Our last show was in May.
Doesn't feel like it.
No, it doesn't. It feels like it was yesterday. So we both had nice vacations.
Obviously, the big to do for Drinks and Dave's was Dave and Dave getting together for the first time in years.
Yeah, so I think the last time we got together was when we were in Vegas, I think.
Yeah, was that like 3 years ago?
Yeah, 3 years, 2004 or 24, 2024. But yeah, we had a great time. I mean, it was fantastic. It really was. So to set the stage for those of you that don't know, Sharon and I flew out to San Francisco. We stayed at a very nice hotel in Burlingame, which is just right across. Basically, you're sitting at the airport, basically, but it's across the bay. Well, lovely hotel. And then Dave and Pantea hosted us on a Saturday and a Sunday. And we had dinner Friday night, and their house, very beautiful home. It's very close by. And then they took us all over San Francisco and went out to Napa. And then for the rest of the time, because Dave and Pantea had to go back to work, we spent our time in Monterey, Half Moon Bay, Santa Cruz, back to Half Moon Bay.
A lot of stuff for how kind of short a time.
Yeah, I mean, we were there for 10 days, I think, just under 10 days, and we saw a lot. I mean, we really did. If I would have been better prepared, I would have put up pictures and videos of where we went. But no, it was fantastic. It was that way, and we thank you so much. And next time we'll have to have you out this way when when the lava finally hardens up, because we're under another heat warning today. Which, it's all because this damn El Nino's setting up. But, we're not too bad. We're only 99.
You were just off with your 10-day guess. You were there for 6 days.
Yeah. Were we there?
No. It was such an ordeal being with us. It felt like 10. I understand.
No. That's not it. Who knows?
What constitute a heat wave when you live at 120 most of the time?
Well, we're not at 120. Usually in July and August, we're in the high 90s, low 100s. And but this year, for some reason, we were at like 102, 103 in March, and then that got cooled down to the 80s, and then it went back up to the 90s, then to the hundreds, then to the 105. We've only hit 110, I think, twice this year, but we're supposed to be 105 through 107 the rest of the week. Then the monsoons come back, but because of the way the El Nino is setting up, apparently we're going to have monsoons into September when it does start getting cooler, and then we're supposed to have a really wet, snowy winter because of the El Nino.
Oh, that could be fun.
Oh yeah, we're looking forward to it. Well, at least I am. I know somebody else isn't, but the bad part about it is vacation time, and then we've got another fishing / relaxation / chase the dogs around the lake vacation in late September, early October, up to the lake with the RV. And hopefully, and they've been getting socked with rain, so hopefully the lake will have some water. And it was down when I talked to the ranger station up there. They said the lake was down 21 feet, but that's what it was last time we were there. So it's been holding its own.
Now, are you on concrete slab, or will it be mud there if it's?
Oh no, it's a state park. It's got full hookups, concrete slab, barbecues. Those people that have seen pictures of it, and then, like I said, the shower and restroom areas are nicer than some hotels, so we don't use anything inside the coach. We were planning on getting this little fencing system that you put around the coach so we don't have to always have the dogs on the leash, but we didn't do it yet because it's like a dog crate, but it doesn't have the crate. It's just got panels that go in around the cement slab in front of the front door of the motorhome, and it's got a gate on it. So it's really neat. So you can let the dogs just hang out. Because right now what we have to do is we have to attach them to we have this little thing that you dig into the ground, and it's got a 20-foot lead on it that they can jump around on.
Yeah.
But we'll get that probably next year. And then next year, if everything goes right, we're going to the Big Island, Hawaii, but we'll see if the condominium that we were slated to stay in is going to be there. I haven't talked to him yet after the hurricane hit.
He'll be all right. Well, so yeah, we're supposed to talk about, our summer stuff. So I'd say, it was better and worse than it could have been your visit out here, right? Because to set the stage is we had this all planned.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna come hang out, and then the kidney stone hit,
mm-hmm.
and it was like, oh shit. And so I had to have the procedure to zap that kidney stone just days before you guys came,
right?
So I was very worried that was going to put a kibosh on some of the travel plans. And very luckily, I think things were pretty good. We got to do most of everything we planned.
Yeah.
And then, when you guys were gone, I was like, it was, I don't know. We, as I say, you got to do tons, and we got to do tons together. And there's a whole lot of fun all hanging out together. But it's like, we never shared a cigar. We didn't have any scotch. There's just like too much to get done in a short period of time.
Right. Well, and plus we had kind of made the plans, and you guys both had to work. Obviously, when we do it again, obviously we can plan around that and do more. But you guys showed us everything we wanted to see in San Francisco, and then the treat of going out to Napa was just unbelievable, and basically having an $80 ham sandwich. That was the best ham sandwich that I've ever eaten.
Right.
And then the highlight was going to Duckhorn and finding out that Peridou is not going to be around. So of course I got stuff cheap and then the highlight of that trip, aside from having you guys drive us around Napa, was Darush. That was an incredible winery. I mean, just incredible. So it was neat to see.
Yeah, we looked. For some reason, Napa was quiet. Oh, it was Father's Day. It was Father's Day when we were there.
Was it? That's right. Yeah.
That might have been part of it. But both wineries that we went to were not full at all. And Darush, the second one we went to, we kind of just said, "Hey, can you do this for us?" And I don't remember who asked if we could kind of see the barrels and stuff, and he says sure. And
Well,
it-
I think, frankly, that was
Mhm.
started by your wife because remember we were having that discussion about American pistachios versus Iranian pistachios, and your wife said there's a difference. And when he came up and she asked about it, and he said, "Well," and then in the ever presence of Pantea, he was like, "I better find this crap," and he did. And I think based on that. That was just the icing on the cake to be able to go down in the barrel room and see everything. Although those people that were doing that private dinner and tasting, they didn't seem too happy because they're like, wait a minute, we spent $400 per person to come down here. And here comes Joe Hackett and his friends. Just why did I say Joe Hackett? So Sterling Soaps, that was weird. But it was just, there was something about that winery, in my opinion, that was magical. And the fact that your wife was beamingly proud that this was a heritage of her lineage, I mean, of her background, it was just magical. I mean, it really was. It was fantastic. And then to top it all off, on the way home, we got to go to Jack in the Box.
Yeah,
I mean, come on. It was funny after you guys dropped us off. Sharon and I were thinking we wish we would have had more than 2 days to spend with you guys, but we did a boatload of stuff in those 2 days, and it was neat hanging out in that pub in San Francisco after the pub in San Francisco after seeing Chinatown, and then that ice cream that was the size of a frickin' umbrella, and that was a small. And for those of you that ever get a chance to go there, there's a gelato shop just south of Chinatown in San Francisco where they do a cone of gelato, but they make the cone look like a big flower.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. It's really kind of neat.
Well, and you got the full San Francisco experience because it was kind of warmish, and the gelato, being petals and stuff, I think made it melt faster. So we were like, okay, we need to stop and eat this. We duck into this. I call it an alley, but it's bigger and kind of lit up and stuff.
Right.
And the first thing that hits you is a big cloud of marijuana smoke. You're just like,
it's like, whoa. Yeah. But I think the thing that surprised me more than anything is because people that I talked to saying I was going to San Francisco, they said, oh, it used to be such a beautiful town and it's just gone downhill. And quite frankly, and I'm going to say this bluntly, they were all full of shit. I mean, the city looked clean to me. It did. People were not, especially when, in knowing that, I would have said, hey, let's go down to the wharf and stuff like that. But I was kind of shied away from that, but it was fine, so, Sharon and I talked about it the next day. We were like, next time we have to plan to where you can spend more time and doing anything else, because there were some negatives to the trip.
Hit it.
And we, one of our big things, and I told everybody this before, that because of a movie called Tequila Sunrise and a mention of a fish called sand dabs, I had to get sand dabs at the best place in California. So we found it in Monterey. So that was kind of cool. And we figured, we get to go to the Monterey Aquarium. That's where all the big stuff is. And Star Trek was filmed there. And so we get there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we get there and we park and we're fine, and we walk down to the marina, and there was a line and there was lots of kids and everything else. That's fine. And then so I think it was $65 or $75 per person, but the fire marshal I don't think had any idea what he was doing because the place was packed. I mean, not just a little packed. It was packed. So we're kind of shuffling like Tim Conway through these things. And it was nice. There was neat things, but you're trying to take pictures and video, and little kids are sticking their hands in front of you. And we were told, and it may have been our fault, that there was a tunnel that you could walk through where there was, all these fish floating above you. That didn't happen. What the tunnel was what it's like if you get hit by a wave in the coast. So that was kind of disheartening. So finally we said, you know what, let's leave. So I think it was overly expensive. It was not as clean as I thought it would be. And then to top that off, we found out that there's an aquarium in San Francisco that
Oh.
does have that tunnel. So next time, that's on our list.
I'm trying to
So-
remember. I did thought there was a tunnel in the Monterey
Mhm.
Aquarium. So it's not that you
No.
you didn't find it; they don't have it.
They don't have it.
Interesting. But yeah, there is one just on the wharf, but it's not. Monterey's much bigger.
Yeah, but this one
Mm.
has that. But the one in San Francisco has the tunnel.
Has
So
a tunnel.
next time we go, we'll go. So to top that all off,
Yeah.
we're walking out, and there's this little section where you stamp your hand if you want to come back in. Because once you pay, you can come back. Well, there was a family, or let us rephrase that. The husband was trying to walk out the door. The wife was putting the stamps on the kids. And she was trying to speak in Spanish, I guess, because she's teaching them Spanish. I mean, she's blonde hair, blue eyed, English, but the kids were stamping everything, their faces, their mom's hand, their everything else, and we're standing there waiting because we figured, well, let's get our hand stamped just in case. She looks up at us, blank stare. My wife, Sharon, says, we just want to get out. Oh, okay. And then they go back to stamping everything on the planet. So, and I'm thinking, should I say something in real Spanish to her? And I said, no, we just waited. So after that, we decided, let's find this restaurant so we can get the sand dabs. So we start walking through the, what's the name of the, oh God, they call it something. It's where all
Cannery?
those shops. Yeah, the Cannery Row. It was great. All kinds of neat stuff. Got some saltwater taffy and all that. So what we didn't know is that there's a trolley that runs all the way down, comes all the way back up. And I looked at the map and it said 1.6 miles to the restaurant. Yeah, let's walk. So we did. And we had a great walk and went down by the shore, saw the sea lions, and finally had dinner or lunch. And the lunch was incredible. The sand dabs were everything I thought they would be. We sat right on the pier. It was wonderful. So on the way back, I said, it's uphill. Let's find the trolley. So we found the trolley, got back on, and then took off back towards San Francisco. And then we stopped in Santa Cruz because when I was a kid, my cousin in Puerto Rico, when I would go to visit, kind of taught me how to surf. Now, obviously, at my age, I'm not going to surf, but I wanted to get some actual surf T-shirts from actual surf shops. And we get there, and all the surf shops have closed down. They can't afford the rent, and you can buy all the same surf shops online. So we found one, but the mall area, it was a beautiful downtown area with the theater and everything else, was empty. There was a coffee shop. That was it. So we had some coffee, and then we got back and then we went up the coast a little bit, kind of watched the sunset at this one beach park, and then came back to the hotel with the plan next day to go back to Santa Cruz, to go to Half Moon Bay. Half Moon Bay, we absolutely fell in love with. Just absolutely fantastic. It was so cool. It was just neat. So we did the shopping thing that day, went back to the hotel, and then we said, let's go back. So we went back, and then the next day I had to go to Mavericks because Mavericks is like, Mecca for surfing. Now, it wasn't booming then, but just to see the radar dome and to see where it was, and we drove to where the parking lot. We didn't walk onto the beach. We'll do that next time. And then we had lunch or dinner actually at this thing called Half Moon Bay Brewing Company. Great place to eat. And it was funny because they had a menu. Sharon got, I think she got a mushroom burger or a veggie burger or something like that. That was mistake number one. Mistake number two was that I ordered, they had fish and chips, fish and prawns, and then fish and calamari prawns and everything else. And they were only $5 different. So I bought the one that was $30, which for a big plate of seafood is cheap. They came out, they might as well have brought a bucket. It was huge. It was probably 2 feet wide by a foot long. There's no way we could finish it all. So we decided to bring it back to the hotel, which that wasn't a good idea either. Yeah, it didn't taste good the next day. So we, what else did we do? Oh, so the final day there, we were going to go share, because the main reason of this whole trip that we've been talking about for years was for me to see the redwoods, redwoods. And, we didn't have enough time to go up north or down south. So Muirwood was it. So I get on the computer that evening and I look, and it's $25 to get in per person. Okay. You have to pay for parking, and I forget how much that was, but you have to give them a 2-hour window to, a 2-hour window to go and park. And then it's another $35 to go across the bridge. And I'm thinking, okay, I want to see the Golden Gate, but let's save that when Dave and Pantea can take us because they're natives. And so I said, honey, for the amount of money that we're going to spend, and we're going to spend 2 hours walking around the woods, I don't know. So she got a little upset at me. She goes, I'm going to do some research. So she gets on and she starts reaching, and she goes, okay, I found this place called Henry Cowell Redwood State Park. Well, I think it's called Henry Cowell State Park. And I'm thinking, okay. And she goes, it's just a little bit north of Santa Cruz on Highway 9, which is a highway in name only. It's a cart path is what it is. And, but I did find out how fast and how well a Tesla handles on those roads because he passed me on it. So we pull up to this, the ranger station. We pull up and she goes, $7. Now I'm thinking, okay, it's $7 to park, $7 to get in, $50,000. She goes, no, $7, $7. That's it total. So we pull in, and there's not too many people in the parking lot. So then we go into the gift shop, not too many people there. And at that point, the cynical side of me says, oh God, they're all going to be saplings. They're going to be little tiny trees, because we went by this other park that the fires had just to Big Bend or something like that had torn apart the park. So there's a couple of different trails. One is like 16 miles that goes down into the waterfalls. We weren't going to do that, but there was I think a 1.5 to 2 mile circular track that takes you through the redwood forest. And it was absolutely the most magical thing we've ever seen. Wow. Because it was a little misty, and then the sun would come out. There wasn't too many people there. And the redwoods, there was one, we didn't know this, but it is the oldest first growth redwood forest in the state.
Really?
And nobody knows about it. I mean, it's like Sedona used to be for here, because it's locals. And so there was this one tree that was probably a good 20 feet around and 44 stories high. I mean, it was incredible. We had such a great time. And so we're walking back, and we're walking next to this one tree called the burl faces. So it's all burl, but they look like faces in the redwood. And then the next tree over, I see this big long piece of banana yellow saltwater taffy. At least that's what I thought it was. And so one of the rangers came by, and he goes, oh, you are so lucky. And I said, why? I said, I think it's disgusting that people put taffy on the trees. He goes, no. That's a banana slug. And I went, wait a minute, where have I seen that before? He goes, it's the mascot for the UC Santa Cruz, everything, high school, college. And he goes, watch. And he goes, and it moved, and it was huge. I mean, it had to be 1.5 feet long and probably 1 inch wide. And he goes, normally you have to look down in the ferns and stuff for that, but this one came up. So he goes, that doesn't happen very often. So it turned out to be absolutely amazing. And it was so funny because we got in the car, because that's actually the day we ate in Half Moon Bay, our last night. And, but the look on Sharon's face was one of happiness, triumph, because I had kind of poo-pooed this park. I was like, come on, it's like Catalina State Park. It was amazing. It was an absolute fantastic finish to a great vacation. And, props need to go to her, because when she planned the flights, because we got a great package, but when she planned the flights, we didn't leave Tucson until 3. And when we left San Francisco, we didn't leave till like 8:30. So the planes were not full. The flight was smooth. Yeah, it was fantastic. And it was really neat, because we were looking at some pictures the other day of when we were at, what was the name of the restaurant in Napa and Yountville? Bouchon, where Sharon and Pantea were sitting next to each other and smiling. And you could tell that they hit it off just perfectly. It was just great. I mean, it was great. Yeah. And it was very enjoyable to watch the debate between self-driving and non-self-driving. That was fun. But her Tesla, I feel honored that we drove in her Tesla before she traded it in.
Got rid of it, yeah.
Yeah. So our summer, even though it was only 6 days, it felt it was it was probably the most relaxing 6 days because for me, our hotel, because this was all done sight unseen. So Sharon goes, "Hey, AARP has got this deal where it's so much money and it includes the rental car, the airfare, the hotel." And I'm thinking, okay, those type of deals usually end up with something not happening correctly. And it was perfect. I mean, the hotel was right on the bay, and so I could go out and smoke a cigar right out on the bay, and it was people walking, running, on the path right there. And it was, it just, and I guess maybe because of some of the people I talked to that had given me expectations that I had set the bar somewhat lower, but the bar was so much higher. It just, we're excited to come back. I mean, that's how much we liked it.
Well, I know when you left, you were ready to buy a house here.
Oh yeah, we looked at Half Moon Bay for about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
We looked at Burlingame for about 30 seconds. So we figured the amount of money we could have paid for a home, we can go back and forth and visit San Francisco a whole bunch of times.
That's fair. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah,
But no,
problem with travel and all this stuff, as you've seen, is the people.
Mhm.
If there's fewer people around, travel would be much easier. Prices would be lower.
Well, the thing is, what surprised me, and I didn't even realize that, I guess in Santa Clara was where the World Cup was going on.
Yeah.
So it was busy, but you would think it would be a lot more busy because we met people from all over the world, because the hotel had breakfast every morning. And so we talked to people from Australia and New Zealand and stuff like that were coming over just to see that. And what amazed me is everything you saw in the media was true. I remember one morning I was eating breakfast and there were some syrup packets, just the ones you tear open, the syrup packets. And we take all that for granted. We really do. And this one guy was opening it and shutting it and opening it. He goes, "Oh my God, this is like portable maple syrup." I said, "Yeah." And so, it's amazing the things that they don't have.
Oh.
I mean, you all heard it on the media about the ranch dressing that, people wanted to defect from their countries just so they could have ranch dressing. And we take ranch dressing, but that's okay. So yeah, it was magical. In fact, of all the different places I've been in California, I have to say San Francisco was my favorite for a couple of reasons. One, I liked the dreary, and I don't even call it dreary, but I love the fog coming in every day at 4:00 in the afternoon and the temperatures. It was so horrible. 55 for a low, 63 for a high. I mean, are you kidding? Now, Sharon originally was like, because it was windy the night we got there. And it was chilly.
That was the big surprise of the whole thing, is how Sharon felt about the weather.
Yeah, because after a couple of days, she's like, "This is pretty nice." Because we were all bundled up in sweatshirts. But see, that's the cool thing. It's the middle of June and you can wear a sweatshirt in the evening. That's just cool. And so it was a trip for the books, and we can't wait to get back. And you guys, honestly, you guys were just fantastic hosts. It was great. It was great.
Very cool. Well, then it's easy for us to forget. I mean, like, obviously the World Cup made it a little bit different, but whenever we're in the city, you see tourists obviously all the time, and we forget that that's a worldwide destination, is to come to that city. So it's very frequently filled with people from all over the world. And, I tell Ponte, I always feel sorry for when it's super foggy, the people that are coming and you see them walking on the Golden Gate Bridge and they can't see squat because it's so foggy and they came, all this way. But
well, the thing is, also it was kind of neat to watch you guys, in some of the places you were taking us, because like anything else, like if you guys come out here, a lot of the stuff we take people to, we on a day-to-day basis, just take it for granted. I mean, like Old Tucson, the movie set, or the Sonora Desert Museum, we just, okay, whatever. Even the Grand Canyon. Okay. It's a big hole in the ground, so that was
like the day we spent in the city before we went and had ice cream and all, we saw the botanical gardens, and we hadn't been there for, I don't know, 10, 15 years, something like that. So
Well, and what I found out is the aquarium. We found out later the aquarium is right there. That's where the aquarium's at. So, anyways, so next time, I mean, I could see where 2 weeks, 10 days at least would be worth it to see some of the other things. But 6 days was nice. I mean, it was a nice.
Well, and like you saw the Bay Area, the coast, all the way down to Monterey, and then up to Napa, which is inland and stuff. I mean, there's so much within an hour and a half. Very different.
Oh, absolutely.
Geography and climates and
exactly. And the other thing, driving around there wasn't as bad as I thought. I thought it was going to be bumper to bumper, busy, crazy, and it wasn't. Everybody keeps a nice pace. What surprised me, though, is I would have been considered the aggressive driver because everybody there, and I think it's because every other car is a Tesla, they set it up for their self-drive at a certain speed, and they just read a book or watch a movie or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, somewhat. I mean, the Bay Area, there's enough traffic. People can't be doing 80 here and all that, but it's I-5 between here and LA where you get that kind of stuff. Yeah, just wide open.
We did when we went to the state park. We did drive where Cupertino was. I kind of wanted to go over and see it, and Sharon was like, "No, I worked with Apple. I don't want to see anything or step on any ground that even accomplishes anything with Apple." And to this day, I'm still trying to talk her into an iPhone, and she won't do it.
Yeah.
So, anyways.
Well, and that's what's neat though is I mean, just like the first time I moved to California, and you hear of all these cities, and they're just right here: San Jose, Oakland, San Francisco, Napa, Berkeley. I mean, they're just, you can almost see one from the other.
Right.
And then all the companies, you're driving down the major highway, and there's Apple and Oracle and Google and just all. Yeah.
What surprised me the most, in contrast to Los Angeles in that area, is that when we drove on Highway 92, which took us, over, as you told it, right through the middle of San Andreas Fault, and but down into where Half Moon Bay is, the lavender fields, the Christmas tree farms. I did not expect to see that much open land. I really didn't. And then all the way down the coast on US 1, I mean, it didn't feel like it was congested at all. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah, very different than LA, San Diego, all that kind of place.
Yeah, it was a nice contrast. But yeah, we loved it. It turned out to be just probably one of the best trips we've done. So we really enjoyed it.
Cool.
So enough about me. What did you do over the summer?
Well, the other major trip we had was, of course, a cruise. And because, Pontea has a goal of being on every Disney ship. So there's one that had come out still. It was their first inaugural year. So we just did what we call now a simple cruise, just in the Caribbean and all that. But we invited my sister and her husband and their son along with us. And that was really cool. It was their first cruise ever.
Oh, wow.
And so we ended up meeting in Miami and staying in the same hotel. So that was cool itself. Just kind of in the evening, they're saying, "Hey, where are you at?" And they met us up when we were eating dinner and just hanging out and having because they're up in Oregon, so we don't get to see them much. And then just kind of, just the same thing, like, seeing you guys experience this area and through your eyes, experiencing a cruise through their their eyes and just, because if you've never been on one, and just the size and the service and, all of this and that and all that stuff. So that was really cool. And I have to say, I told you about this, but while I'm not a fan of the newer ships, it had one of the coolest experiences that I've ever seen in one of the bars. And they have a Haunted Mansion themed bar.
That would be so cool.
When Disney wants to theme out something, I don't think anybody can compete with them. So obviously from the signage to the entire inside of it, from the menus to this just sitting there, you got the portraits hanging and on all the decorations, but then you realize you're hearing like wind whistling, like it's through a broken window and that kind of stuff.
Sure.
And then every so often a show will start up where you kind of hear the music and the lights change and the portraits change to the skeletons and this and that. I mean, it was just how immersive that was just amazing.
Now, did the bar itself like have a mirror behind the bar so you could see the ghosts? You know, those ghosts. Yeah,
the ghost showed up in the mirror to do their thing, and they made it interactive. Was one of the coolest things. So it's the same voice as the Haunted Mansion ride in Disneyland, and it's telling the story. And then it says, and then you hear the bells of the ghosts, and you hear real bells, and you look up, and they had handed bells to people at the bar, and they're shaking the bells, and
that's cool.
And Pontea ordered a drink. I forget what it was called, but it came with a death certificate, and it was served in a box. They hand you the death certificate, and then they open the box, and inside is your drink with smoke, and smoke pours out. And you see foam on top of the drink, and then they shine a black light on it, and the logo of the Haunted Mansion is on the foam of the drink. It's just everything to the.
Well, that's the one thing with Disney. Yeah, they don't screw around. Yeah. Now, do they? I think you told me this, but do they have like a Pirates of the Caribbean themed restaurant on any of the ships?
They do not, but they have Pirate Night.
Oh, okay.
So you hear, and again, we've talked about cruises multiple times on the show, so I won't spend a lot of time. But again, that's one thing that I love, that walking down the hallways and elevators, you normally hear, Disney songs. It's, some quiet kind of music. But on Pirate Night Day, the music throughout the whole ship has changed to pirate type music, their songs and all this stuff. And then, of course, they have the pirate live action show on the deck within the fireworks that they shoot off and all that stuff.
So the whole day is Pirate Day.
Yeah, pretty much. And then if you're on a longer cruise, your dinner is the pirate themed dinner with Johnny cakes and stuff like that. And,
oh, wow.
But anyway, the cruise itself was a lot of fun. They, their private island, I think it was the best day that we've ever had there, just because we've been there where it's been too cool and kind of rainy. We've been there where it's way too hot to spend much time. This was just perfect. We spent way longer than we've ever spent on their island before. The weather was good. Everybody that signed up for parasailing got to do it. That oftentimes cool. It's too windy for that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, the only thing was, it's down there and it was pretty warm and pretty humid. So we didn't hang outside much. And so the kind of the big bummer of that trip was, like our flight back was pretty late. I think it was 6 p.m. or something. And, you got to get off the ship early. So I was like, well, you know what? And, we're starting to think that this is the last that we'll do with all the kids and the last that. So we thought this could be the last cruise we all do together as a family. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, all right, I don't want to just make everybody sit around an airport for a big chunk of the day, which we've done before. Mm-hmm. So I rented a car and found a botanical garden there. And I thought, well, this would be kind of a neat thing to do. Well, the car was not cheap, probably 3 times as much as it really should have been. But it had to be big enough for 5 people and suitcases and all that, right? So we get that, and then we get to the botanical garden, and of course it's like, I don't know how hot it is, but it's also very humid and just not, nobody's in the mood for trekking through this thing. And we did see some neat plants and all that stuff, but I think, I don't know, after an hour and a half or something, we were kind of done and went and ate lunch and turned the car back. I'm like, that's the most expensive botanical garden we have ever been to.
Wow.
So, but it was a fun trip.
Now, did you guys do any other trips or anything? Since
no,
May?
I mean, the only other one was we haven't seen my parents since Christmas, and so Pontea was overseas out of the country for work on one weekend, and I decided to go surprise my parents.
Oh, cool!
Because you mentioned the self-driving thing, and again, we've talked about that, but. The car I have now is the only car I've ever had with the complete self-driving. And we took it down to Santa Barbara once, and it was so much more relaxing than driving. It made me think, well, you know, I was done driving up to Portland because that's like a 10-hour drive.
Right.
And I thought, well, maybe, you know, this might be possible with you're not stressed out. You're not having to pay attention like all the time. And so I drove up there. I did split the drive up there into 2 days. But yeah, mom especially just thrilled, right? When
so she had no idea you were coming
neither
up.
one of them had no idea. Oh my gosh,
That's
the reaction I got from her was just, which, you know, I guess any parent can understand your child just shows up, you know, out of the blue, and so that was good. And then again, I've thanked her before. Major kudos to my wife that instead of flying from Paris back home, she flew to Portland.
Oh, wow.
So that she could also surprise them, which now she had to have a layover to get to Portland and flight delays in Chicago and delay after all this stuff. So anyway, she came there and had one full day before we had to drive back. So again, got to have dinner with my sister and them and my parents and all that stuff. And then we did drive back, you know, all in one day. And it is true. It's just so much more relaxing that I don't mind taking longer trips now because of that.
Right. Well, that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
Now, you guys have any other plans for trips in the fall at all?
No, you know, that's what's crazy. We don't have a trip planned until next May or June or something.
Wow.
Yeah. Right?
Well, but weren't you gonna go down to Disneyland or something like that?
Oh, for my birthday. Yeah, we're going just a quickie for my birthday. Yeah, for Disneyland.
How long does it take you to get to Disneyland from?
Well, we're flying, so I don't know,
okay,
an hour. Yeah, I asked I kind of didn't mind driving there too, but she was like, "No, thanks."
Because how many hours would it normally be?
6 to 7. It's not terrible.
So Pantea says, but I ended up stressing him out on the way back anyway.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly what it, but I did tell you we went door to door from Portland to our house without me touching the steering wheel once. Door to door. Yeah. Amazing. Then that's with 3 stops to charge. You know, it pulls into the charger and pulls back out, and
that's pretty cool. That's pretty cool.
Very cool. Very cool.
Pretty
cool.
So
I don't know. We have to, you know, we figured 2 cruises last year. That was enough travel, but it kind of feels like it's going to be a long time till the next one.
Well, but you've got other circumstances that'll keep you around the house.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
So I meant to ask you, you know, obviously for those people that, did you have your 3D printer before we went on hiatus? I think you did.
I think so.
Yeah, because so how did all your Disney 3D print stuff that and you can explain why you have those.
Well, yeah, my wife said, "Is this the only reason you got a printer?" And it was. I say no, but I noticed I haven't been printing much since after the cruise. But I did see, you know, so Disney, people that have cruised before decorate. No, you come with decorations for your door. There are very few doors that have nothing on them, and it used to be just flat magnets. And then as 3D printers came about, people started 3D printing ships and, you know, other, you know, Mickey bars and whatever, and put them on their doors. And I thought that's really cool. And I would really like to not just print them for me, but print up a whole bunch and just randomly go and stick them on people's doors as gifts and stuff. So I went with, I think I must have had at least 30 of these things, maybe more, printed up just to put on people's doors. And
well, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. And
it was all done anonymously.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
So nobody knows. But one of the very last ones I put on was at their private island, and we were walking down the hall for dinner, and I saw a couple coming back just loaded. They had taken their own snorkel stuff, so they're carrying all this stuff and struggling and get to their door, and I had put one on their door, and they saw it and they go, "Oh, that's cool," and walked in, and I'm like, "All right, well, that was enough to be like."
Then it works, yeah. Well, I think Disney cruisers are probably on a different level than most other cruise ships, because even at the high end cruise ships like Seabourn and some of the other ones, people like the amenities and stuff like that. But Disney is a family interactive thing that's been going on since the 50s. I mean, I don't think there's one person that can't or does not have a good Disney memory.
I would hope. I know, and that's people. Whatever. I'm not here to sell anything, but people that are just like not about the parks, I'm like, okay, but have you tried their cruise ships?
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a big fan of the parks either. I don't, parts of them are fun and all that, but I don't do the rides and things. But
yeah. But it's fun. I mean, it's still, I think Disney's, for those of us that are a certain age, Disney was part of our growing up. I mean, in a lot of ways. So, but
and now that The Rock is part of Disney, who can't be a fan?
Well, exactly. So, but so overall, summer was good. I was excited to get back to our shows.
Yeah. So the next, are we gonna? I had an idea. Are we gonna do that next week?
Not sure yet. I haven't contacted, but we are going to be having some guests. I gave him a list of dates because I think what is the date that you can't? It's the first one in September, right? Okay, so we're good there. So if nothing else, we'll come up with something else, for the next show next week. But it's good to be back, and although we did have a little bit of a technical issue before the show, because we hadn't been around for a while, and I wasn't sure whether StreamYard had changed things, because I had created something and all of a sudden there was nothing, none of our stuff, none of our anything. But I found out what the reason was. That
we're at 7. We were just up to 8 people when we had the kind of the countdown playing, almost right up to where we started. There was 0, and we were like, uh-oh. We lost everybody.
But I was looking at our page, and we haven't lost any of our subscribers, so they were notified. So that's a good thing, and hope everybody's excited. In the last couple of minutes, guys, anything that in our barflies, anything that you guys did for the summer that was exciting for your vacations? Because it's amazing. I can't believe it's the middle of August already.
Right? Because pretty soon you start thinking about winter holidays, and it's like every year it feels like the year just started, and then starting to have to think about that stuff. Or ideas for the show, right?
Yeah, if you guys have ideas for the show, we say it all the time. Email us with shows. Dave will put up a ticker here in a minute.
I'm sure that they still want the oyster tasting.
Yeah, the only problem is for me, well, for you could probably, but no, there's something about packaged oysters. No, I didn't know.
You can get them canned, right? In the little tins, along with. Ooh, we could do you like canned fish?
Sardines and kippers?
Sardines and stuff. We could do it. Those aren't cheap though.
But can you do that?
I can do fish.
Oh, so it's not. So it's just shellfish that you can't have. Okay.
Right, because that I was gonna say, that fish that you went to seek out,
the sand dabs.
Sand dabs. I had never heard of that before in my life. Before you mentioned it.
Really?
Yeah. So they're
basically
fish,
like,
right?
It's a white fish. They're basically like a tilapia, but they're a little bit bigger. And the way they serve them is that, you've got probably chunks that are probably 4.5 inches, and then they lightly bread them and saute them in butter and garlic. And they're just unbelievable. Well, we can try that. Frank has a good idea. We could do that. We could do sardines, kippers, and canned oysters if we want to try that, or tinned oysters. And there's a multitude of different types of kippers and stuff.
And I've been because things get popular and then go away on the cadre sometimes. And KJ, who hasn't been on our show forever, we have to give him a hard time about that. Right. But he was championing sardines and stuff like that for a while,
Mm-hmm.
and got me interested in trying some. And I like them in moderate. Like, I couldn't eat a whole can,
No.
but if you take, a couple of crackers with some on, I can do a few. But
The
he
problem
had
is-
one that was lemon.
Mhm.
And I look every time I'm in a store and think about it, I look for the ones in the lemon sauce or juice, whatever. I've never been able to find them.
Yeah, I'll have to look the next time we're in there because it's one of those things where you pass by them in the aisle, because usually they're right next to the Spam, and there's a lot. I mean, there's a lot of different ones. There's spicy, there's non-spicy, and then I was thinking of another show that we could do since we're food related is ramen.
You mentioned that, and I asked, how would we do that, though?
Well, I'm talking about the ramen that you get that's, shelf stable till the year 3760,
Right.
and you just create it in the microwave. We pick 3 or 4, just cook them in the microwave. And
if we just did a couple, that would be, because lots of times our tasting are 10, 12 of these things. And
no,
I
just
couldn't
a
make
few.
Well,
But I
if we
like
got the kinds that come in the bowls. Those would be easier.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. You just pour the
okay.
water in, microwave them, and go from there. And then everybody in our Barflies can listen to Dave and Dave slurp.
The problem though is like when we have our leftovers from the chips or the cookie or whatever, we can take care of the leftovers down the road. If you've got open cans of fish,
oh no,
I don't know that those are just going to go in the trash.
Yeah, see, in this house, there's 2 things that get thrown away immediately. One, kimchi, because first of all, I have to beg and scream to have kimchi in the house, anyways. And I love kimchi. I love it.
If you come back out and you can remember, there's an Asian grocery store that has a wall of kimchi.
Really? A wall of kimchi.
Wall of kimchi that's about 5 minutes from our house.
Start planning the trip, honey. She's looking at me like, yeah, right. But one thing I also talked about to her on the way back is that traditionally with this El Nino that's setting up in the Pacific, there is thoughts that Mavericks could finally give Nazaré, Portugal, which is known for the biggest waves on the planet, a run for its money. And they are thinking that there is a possibility that someone will ride a 100+ foot wave at Mavericks in December or January or February. So I am going to keep an eye on Surfline. I'm going to keep an eye on Surfline. And if that swell is headed that way, I will fly. Sharon probably won't come with me, but I will fly because I want to see it. I want to see what those waves look like.
I thought they stopped surfing Mavericks for safety.
Well, no, they stopped having the contest. But they're still.
They don't want to encourage the people, but
right. But there's still, and I would imagine there will be some major surf event if that El Nino, well, it is setting up. And that's another thing we could do. I like Spam. I don't know if you do or not, but there are a ton of varieties of Spam.
Right. But see, the same thing like, when we get Doritos, all this stuff, we try to get them like, at $2.50 a bag or a cylinder or whatever. This stuff we're talking about is it's like $7 for a can of 10.
Well, that's what I'm saying. We probably pick 3 or 4, and that's it. Because really, we're going to have 2 bites on a cracker, and then give the rest of the dogs.
I was going to say you've got dogs that can finish.
Oh yeah, they'll love it. But I don't know if I want doggy fish breath. I mean, I don't know if I want that. I just got to look from Leica like, hey, don't worry about it.
Well, maybe you could give them a little Trident gum afterwards. And
that's true. That's true. I could do that. So yeah. So any other questions from everybody?
Rich did you see the picture? He sat on the corn throne. He does go to the corn festival every year, which would be heaven. So let's finish up with this. We're at an hour. We go a little over usually. So Rich goes to the corn festival in Gilroy. a couple hours from here is the garlic capital of the world. They've got a garlic festival. If you
And
had
garlic-
to go to a festival,
and garlic hot sauce that is
and
delicious.
they have garlic ice cream as well.
Oh wow.
If you had to go to a festival based on one food, what would you do?
Oof. Well, if they had a national or an international sushi festival in Japan, I would go there.
Oh,
But no, based on those two, the corn festival or the garlic, I'd have to defer to the garlic.
would you?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah, I love garlic.
Well,
Although
no, I was saying you could pick any food. So yours would be if they had a sushi festival. That's
oh
where
yeah,
you'd be at.
I'd be all over it. Yeah. And and
Yeah.
in Sharon, it would be a Mexican food festival. She'd be all over that. How about you?
I don't, I asked you the question without having an answer. The corn, I could see that as being very delicious.
Mhm.
To me,
Could you
garlic
imagine-
gets a little bit overpowering after a while, you
Right.
know.
That's true.
But
But think about it have you ever been to the garlic festival? They have all kinds of, I assume that all the foods are garlic centric.
Yeah.
Whereas in that, I will agree with you, the corn, because you probably have corn cakes, you've got corn on the cob, you've got
Yeah, it's a
corn
little more
chowder, you got
It's not a topping. It's like versatile, right? You can make
Right.
stuff out of it.
right.
Yeah. Corn
And see,
ice
what-
cream, though, I don't.
Well, I know that when we had that corn soda on the show,
Yeah.
that was no good. I would try corn on pizza. Why not?
That's pretty popular in Europe. Corn and eggs on pizza is pretty
Yeah.
standard,
Yeah.
which I've never tried, but I guess at some point should. Oh, cheese! Oh,
Well-
yeah! Oh, a cheese! Oh, yes!
Oh, that would be
over corn. Yeah, 100%.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and PB had asked if I'm ever going to serve Waimea. The answer is a big no on that.
Yeah.
I haven't
Variety
surfed
of
in
Pot-
I haven't surfed in
Oh.
years.
Okay, we can. The tough part is this is the stuff you stumble upon when you don't want it, right? Like you
Mhm.
see like a whole chicken in a can, or
Mhm.
I've seen on social media, never in the store, like a canned hamburger, that kind of stuff.
Oof.
Right. But that would be a good show if we could track down enough stuff.
Well, basically, the easiest thing to do is just go to a military surplus store and get MREs. The brown bread and Major.
Have you had
Rich
that?
Oh
I've
yeah,
never had
we used to
canned
have
brown
MREs.
bread, huh?
Well, the MREs now are nothing like the old
No.
MREs that
Yeah.
had, just in a can and stuff like
Mm.
that. Now they're in sealed bags. You pour hot water or cold water in it, and you've got regular food. Beer
San
festival.
Francisco's good for this. They've got beer festival, wine festival. We've been to the coffee festival. They've had chocolate, stuff like that. Yeah. But now I
That would
want
be kind of
cheese.
fun. Yeah. Well, you guys haven't. When's the last time you had a charcuterie night?
I think when you were here.
That was the
Maybe
last
we've
one you
had-
had.
Maybe we've had one since, but yeah, and that was nice for us because as it gets down to just two people, like, the spread we put out for you,
Mhm.
we can't justify that for two people. So
Yeah, but the cool thing about it is you can eat on it for a day or two.
Yeah.
Because that was really
believe
good.
it or not, I'm so bad about that. We'll chop up the rest of the cheese and stuff and put it in Ziploc bags, and then it just
And then
kind of
it-
sits there.
Then it becomes fuzzy mystery cheese.
Yeah.
Well,
Ew.
that's
So-
yeah. I mean, like I could keep blue cheese in the house all the time, but I can't because somebody doesn't like it.
Well, she doesn't have to eat it.
Yeah, but she has to look at it.
You
That's like
know,
kimchi.
you do steaks on a somewhat regular basis.
Not so much anymore since I've
No?
gotten on this health kick, but yeah, we still do. A lot of chicken,
Oh.
which is probably bad for us.
I was
anyways,
gonna
but-
say a big dollop of blue cheese on a steak,
Ugh,
buddy.
yeah, that's heaven. That's
Yeah.
heaven.
Yeah.
That's heaven. So
All right.
Well, I think we've kind of caught everybody up on summer, I believe.
yeah.
See Tig Lily. She is such a
In
blue cheese.
public.
She's a blue cheese terrorist. She really is. She
In public, she's told you can do it. So.
Oh, she said. Oh, I thought she was being a smartass and saying, "Yeah, you can have your own blue cheese."
Oh.
So
Well,
I'm going to
whichever.
take it
I
the way
mean-
I'm going to take it the way
Right.
you said it. that
You
it was
you read it the way you want to. Yeah.
It was permission. Yes, it was permission.
sure.
So.
Right.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Please tell your friends that we are back. And right now, we're not sure because I know it's in the Senate and the Congress that there's a possibility that daylight savings time is going to. Well, it's already passed the House.
Has
So now
it?
it's got to go to the Senate. So if it goes to
Yeah.
the Senate, daylight savings time will stay permanent.
Yeah,
So in
but
other
can you
words-
imagine all the VCR manufacturers are going to have to reprogram those things so they don't.
Oh, all of us are. I mean,
change.
because from what I understand, those of us that are on standard time, because
Mm-hmm.
everything will go to standard time, we don't get to do anything. We just get to say, "Told you so." But I don't know if that's going to happen or not. So, for us, the confusion of daylight saving time will continue until. But the Senate doesn't come back, I don't think, until September. So we'll find out then. So.
All right.
Anyway, Barflies, please make sure that you join us next week at 5 p.m. Pacific. We hope everybody has a wonderful week, and we will see you again soon. Say goodnight, Dave.
Good night, Dave.
Take care, folks. Maybe.
Please hold.
Maybe we'll just sit here all day.
Well, let me go get my dinner and bring it in. And
I don't know why this is not working. Let me try it this way. Good night, everybody.